Good evening. I'm Larissa, here with my co-anchor Elisa from CNN News US Report. Today is December 31st, 1989 at 6 p.m. Today will be our last newscast for the year.
CNN has taken the time to recap the highlights of a very intense yet very rewarding decade of political turmoils, successes, and negotiations.
Let's first begin the night with one of my personal favorites, the very heated and close debate of 1980.
Former President Republican Ronald Reagan won the presidential election by 44 states to former President and Democrat Jimmy Carter of 6 states.
Let's take it over to Connor and Alex for a greater look into the debate of 1980.
Thanks Larissa and Elisa, thanks for joining us tonight. As they mentioned, the political debate was won by a landslide for Reagan.
But what made him so popular? His looks? His charm? Perhaps it was what he promised to the citizens of America.
His biggest achievements, that should be the most noticeable, was his idea of the notorious Reaganomics and the New Right.
Not only were health, education, and cities spiraling down, but the economy had been the worst in the recession since the Great Depression.
With the New Right, Reagan focused on these social issues, trying to keep America in balance.
Along with these social issues, the economy was failing. Reaganomics had 3 main goals: budget cuts, tax cuts, and increased defense spending.
Here is a clip from the 1980 debate.
Governor Reagan, as a matter of fact, began his political career campaigning around this nation against Medicare. Now we have an opportunity to move toward national health insurance with an emphasis on the prevention of disease, an emphasis on outpatient care, not inpatient care, an emphasis on hospital cost containment to hold down the cost of hospital care for those who are ill, an emphasis on catastrophic health insurance so that if a family is threatened with being wiped out economically because of a very high medical bill, then the insurance would help pay for it. These are the kind of elements of a national health insurance important to the American people. Governor Reagan, again, typically is against such a proposal.
Governor, there you go again. When I opposed Medicare, there was another piece of legislation meeting the same problem before the Congress. I happened to favor the other piece of legislation and thought that it would be better for the senior citizens and provide better care than the one that was finally passed. I was not opposing the principle of providing care for them. I was opposing one piece of legislation as versus another.
After Reagan was only in office for 69 days, he was shot in the arm by John Hinckley Jr. This life-changing event inspired Reagan to change some of his ways and run for a second term.
In the election of 1984, once again, President Ronald Reagan won by a landslide. He ran against former Vice President Walter Mondale, winning 49 out of 50 states.
At this time, many religious groups were forming. The moral majority consisted of a group of Christians that took the reading of the Bible literally and applied that to their daily lives.
In the most recent election of 1988, former Vice President George H.W. Bush ran against Democrat Michael Dukakis. Bush won 40 out of 50 states.
Bush is currently working on balancing the tax system and ending the Cold War relations with Russia.
In most recent news, the Berlin Wall separating East Berlin from West Berlin finally came down on November of this year.
The political turmoil of the 80s brought forth both anger and prosperity of the American people. Thank you for tuning in.
Happy New Year from all of us here at CNN.
Oh my god. Okay. I'm trying to be in the zone, and this is not helping.
Hey, you guys need to go to the bar. Both of you, you're in timeout. Go to the bar.
Get some drinks.
Ronald Reagan.
We're not promoting that, Mrs. Washington, I swear.
Okay.
You guys have to be quiet.
Good evening. I'm Larissa here with my co-anchor Elisa from CNN News US. I can't do this. Go in the corner.
Corner. Go away, corner.
A landslide for Reagan.
So British, it's ridiculous.
In the most recent election of 1988, former Vice President George H.W. Bush ran against Democrat Michael Dukakis. Bush won 40 out of 50 states, and that's how you do it, mate. In the most recent elections of 1988, former Vice President George H.W. Bush ran against Democrat Michael Dukakis. Bush won 40 out of 50. Dude, should I had it?
No, this isn't even fair. We were so good the first 5 seconds.
If I take a little like statue Ronald Reagan.
Pretty sure we're in like to 5 minutes of filming and it's not even film.
Oh my God.
You know what it is? It's them.
It is them.
Especially Connor. Connor.
He's making me
Kona.
Good evening. I'm Larissa here with my co-anchor Elisa from CNN News US Report. Today is December 31st, 1989.
No!